Hi everyone, Rabbi David here, wanting to wish you a Shabbat Shalom. So I know obviously in London we're now moving to the second tier of the government's three-tier strategy, which of course means it would be more difficult to meet each other, certainly indoors at least. It will not affect our services, so what we're doing in the services is going to carry on. That's going to the United Synagogue as well. And so really it's important to know that, yes, of course you cannot absolutely get rid of risk fully, but coming to synagogue at the moment, certainly to Muswell Hill Synagogue, is low risk. As again, we are sitting 2 meters apart, we have masks, we are ventilating, and we're going to every extent possible to ensure that the risk is low. And so, of course, if you don't want to come, I totally understand. But maybe being in synagogue, being in your synagogue, in this building, is something that will console and will be comforting over the next few months. Even if you don't come every week, it's not about are you coming to shul or not from the guilt the rabbi asked me perspective. It's more something that might help you just to be in shul, to sit and reflect, to spend an hour and a half of the week on a Saturday morning coming to the Shabbat service, and feeling connected that way to the community. Because the building is really important. We're not going anywhere. The building is a central part, and services are really an important part of any community. Even though we know there's lots more that makes a community, you can see on my side here desks that are laid out where we had a bar bat mitzvah class. There's weekly bar bat mitzvah classes. They will continue where the children wear masks and are sitting separate. And I was running the session with Josh Gaventa last night, and it was superb. So look forward to seeing you in synagogue and wishing you lots of warmth at this time, emotional warmth, because I know it's not easy for all of us. Now, this week is Bereishit. It's the first of the Parshiot of the year, the creation of man and woman in the Garden of Eden. And what's interesting is that we read that when God creates Adam, this first individual in the Torah, this Adam is placed immediately in the garden to work. La'avod et ha'adama. So number one, the garden is critical, being in nature is critical, and also working, the importance, essential importance of work to our species, to our people, to humanity. This is coming from God here in the Torah, that the importance of work, the dignity of work is so important. The first task given over to Adam in the Torah is to work the ground. And we're told that God is going to give over all of the seed-bearing and fruit-bearing stuff of the world and animals to man to sustain him, to sustain himself. Now, of course, we know that we are living in an era where we are overfishing, we are cutting down rainforests at an alarming rate so that we can have produce. We're overdoing it in our world. We know that the world offers us ways to live and sustain, but we're overdoing it. And if I would ask everyone to watch David Attenborough's witness statement on Netflix, it is such a moving, inspiring and important piece of television. His statement to us to wake up to what's going on in our world. What's interesting though is that the Torah continues in the next chapter where God says that he placed Adam in the garden, le'ovda u'leshomra, not just to work it, but to guard it. So it's built in even to here in the beginning of the Torah that it isn't just enough to work the garden, but there's also a need to guard it, to keep it, because you know, and we know now, that we can overwork. You can overfish. You can overplant, overforest, for the wrong things, of course. Soya, palm, olive production from palms replacing rainforests. So here, right at the beginning of creation, the dignity of work and the need to look after nature. And I'd say thirdly, that Adam, right at the beginning, is placed within the natural world. Not to destroy it, not necessarily to totally overpower it, yes, to subdue it and channel it for his needs, but also to be part of it as well. And though we built cities, and though we became much more metropolitan. We became much more a part of the city life. We should not forget that we also have around us nature that we can work with and that we are a part of as well. So wishing you all a Shabbat Shalom. Regards to everyone. Bye-bye.